Where are you going and where are you dressed that warmly?
I'm going to the library and I'm dressed this way because it's so cold out.
Do you go to the library very often?
It depends. This time of year, yeah.
Wait, do you go to the library because it's just cold outside?
No, this is not an example of causation. In other words, the amount of time I spend in the library is associated with the temperature outside, but it's not caused by the temperature changes.
So the cold temperature basically is associated with you going to the library, but that doesn't cause you to go to the library.
Exactly. There's a hidden background variable, which is the final schedule. That's the thing that's causing the increase in studying, not the temperature.
I see.
So the academic calendar is a confounding variable that's correlated with weather. If the finals were in June, I'd study more in June. It would only be if the calendar were randomized or something like that, which Harvard would never let happen, that there would be causation between temperature and dates.
I see what you mean. So if it were causation, you would go to the library whenever it's cold.
Yep.
So the temperature itself just has nothing to do with the amount of time you spend in the library.
Sort of, but there you run the risk of committing a type 2 error.
What is that?
It's where you fail to reject your null hypothesis, but you should. So our null hypothesis here is that temperature has no effect on studying.
Well, I'm confused.
In this case, even though there might not be causation, temperature does have an effect on studying in the data. In other words, in this case, you actually should reject your null hypothesis. On the other hand, a false alarm would be a type 1 error. This is where, you do reject your null hypothesis, but you shouldn't. For example, you could say the color of Nicki Minaj's hair has an effect on how well she sings Pound the Alarm because a review where she sang it with pink hair was better than a review where she sang it with blue hair. However, hair color is clearly a covariate and has no effect on her actual singing.
So how many types of error are there?
Just those two.
Thank God.
Look what I found in the library. It's a Crimson article talking about the number of hours that students spend studying on warm days and cold days. I drew a graph of the data here. Each data point is an observation that comes from units who are students on particular days at particular times. This one shows how much students studied on September 7th, and this one shows December 7th.
I don't need to look at data, I just read the title. It says that students basically study more when the temperature is warmer. Wait, didn't you just say that you go to the library?
Exactly. I said I study more on the cold days. And in reality, these students do too. The Crimson got fooled by a soft Simpsons paradox. They made their subgroups incorrectly, as you can see, and the data shows the opposite trend from what's actually the case. When the data is aggregated correctly, you can see that students actually study more as the temperature drops.
So I see that. On an individual day, students just go to the library more when it's warmer, but on a seasonal basis, students go to the library more when it's winter.
Exactly.